G'day there. Wanted to do an update to show you my new Tesla coil. No, not that big old one that you've seen before. This little one here. It's got some really fine wire that I got out of a transformer. I have my caliper gauge here, which is zeroed and set to millimeters. I will grab the wire now. You see it's showing 0.11 millimeters there. It usually says 0.1. I might have got a thick spot. Maybe it's enameling, okay. Maybe I was reading it wrong before, I don't know. But anyway, it's about 0.1 millimeters, which puts it up around 35, 36 gauge, I believe. I could be wrong there. And I'll just get that out of the way before we switch him on. And I finished winding this little tower. There's probably about 750 turns on there going by the length that's covered by the windings. I finished winding it probably about an hour and a half ago. Really quickly made a really rough primary coil, rigged up a new tip 31 transistor on a heatsink, and hooked it up, not expecting very much, and got this. You can see jar of fluoros there. Oh, one didn't light up, there we go. Not super bright, but it's a tiny little coil. I've got some wireless stuff going down here. That's one of the Swiss receivers. So that's an inductive receiver, and I'm holding on to it. It goes a reasonable sort of distance. I'm getting about 10 inches there of range. And maximum brightness if I hold it close. And it does work without me touching it. Fairly close. This guy here. Just two Tesla brand germanium transistors. Not transistors, sorry, diodes. I think they're signal diodes. They're fairly high amp ones. I think they can do 5 amps. And that works. There's the standard, I think it's a 1418 diodes. 1N1418s, I think. They're the popular ones for doing these wireless receivers. And I'm getting, metre and a half there. 4 feet in the old scale. If I'm holding on to it. A little bit more if I earth it. Do have plasma, I think you can see there. And I don't have to do anything to make that break out. It does it all on its own. So I'm pretty happy with that. I will be trying a fatter primary. I'm not really happy with the thickness there. 0.1. I've been doing some reading. Tesla like to do things by 3s and 9s. So I'm thinking, I'm getting some plasma on my primary there, it moved. I'm thinking I want to do either for 0.1 millimeter, either 0.9, 1.2, or 1.8 millimeter primary. This has some 2 millimeter in it, which is what I've used for the primary on this coil here. I use 2 of these chokes soldered together to make it long enough. I reckon I can get one out. You just use one for this guy. And hopefully it'll go a bit better. I also have this transformer here with a lot more of the same gauge wire on it. A lot more than the one that I got this bit from. So I need to get my angle grinder out because that core goes right through the middle. And it's lots of interlayered metal plates. And it's all glued and stuff and it's not coming apart. I did have a hack at it with some pliers there. Didn't go well. The bit that goes through the middle is really stuffing me up. There it goes. I did have running nicely here before, and I don't know why that just stopped. Probably because my primary's not in a good spot. There we go. I do get a little bit of single wire, not much. Single wire magnetic induction. And the Swiss coil does pick up something and repeat off the battery there a little bit. Not like with the big one here though. I think it's got to do with the lower amps that this one's going to be pulling through that skinny bit of wire. I might have to turn this off in a sec because if this primary keeps moving around and causing plasma arcing down in there, oh, bit of RF, I am going to start a fire. But yeah, like I said, there's some single wire. It's not very good. If I earth it, it doesn't do anything to the performance. I have an earth lead down here. We'll chuck the scope on. Let it boot up. If anything, the earth actually dims this one out. Off, on, off, on. Okay, and that is not running nicely. That primary's sitting in a horrible spot. As you can see, I need to play with this a bit more, get it running better. But here's our basic waveform. That's my primary in the yellow. That's my base of my space and secondary in the blue. I'm getting about 1.5 megahertz on the primary. And I'm getting about 6 to 7 megahertz on the secondary. Now, something I would like to point out with that secondary measurement is I do not have the earth clip for that secondary scope probe hooked up. They are common earth. The only time I would use that second earth is if I was measuring across a resistor to take an amps reading or something. I have the earth for the primary coil hooked up to the what goes straight to the battery earth, battery negative. So that's the reference point. And yeah, if I hook this one up, watch what happens. We lose the visual on that secondary oscillation, which is the resonance. It's a very typical resonating down waveform. So I don't know why that is. I have had some issues with interference with my other coil as well with the scope. It does run better in certain modes on the scope and things like that. So I'm not sure quite what's going on there. I think it's got to do with the capacitors in the scope probes, helping get a resonance circuit going. Anyway, just wanted to show you this one really quickly. Still need to make a top load. Still need to make a top load for this one. I think I'm going to keep the aluminium wire. I'm a bit short on these big tubes. This is the reason I was thinking about stripping it. But I've decided to keep it because I haven't seen anyone else with an aluminium wound tower. That would be really nice to use for the for a Teslatronics style toroid. So I'm still not 100%. I do have enough copper wire to redo that with copper in exactly the same gauge. So not sure what I'm doing there yet. I might play with this little guy for a day or two. Thanks for watching.